Hey, good evening, everybody. It's me, Lynn Rene MacDonald. We are here for our Friday evening show. Our new show, as many of you know, it's going to be 7:15 every Friday evening. And what we're going to do on our show is psychology, mental illness, and addiction. Okay, that said, that's what tonight's show is always going to be about every Friday night. Coming to you live from the Institute for Christ Consciousness and the Copper Dragon. I have with me tonight my usual hosts, Rachel, Sophia, and Jennifer, to help us, and we're going to talk about addiction, mental illness, and everything and anything having to do with psychology. Okay, so while we don't always think about these things in terms of our everyday lives, but the more that we do this, the more we realize that everything is energy, everything has to do with our emotions, and everything has to do with our souls and what is going on out here in our reality, what is going on subconsciously in our souls, and what is going on consciously in our souls, as well as what is going on in the astrology, or all that is God, that is the energy of God and love. So we're going to be using all these tools on our show tonight to bring everything to everybody, all right, for the best healing, for the best understanding of everything, all the answers that you need here, as well as doing energy work, working with astrology. This is going to be a show about getting really open and honest with who you are, and we're going to be helping you to heal your mental, any kind of mental things that do not serve you. Mental meaning psychological, okay, and it could be, everything from diagnosed issues, and again, it's not going to be an overnight 1 minute thing where it's one pill and we're done, like they teach in allopathic medicine in the medical field here. It's going to be a journey, okay? But every day, if you do what we teach, every day you will feel better. Every day, if you use these tools, you will get better and better and better, and you will get higher and higher and higher and higher vibrationally. You will heal all of these things so that you will be out of those phases of addiction and mental illness, especially in the traditional way that they teach you out here in Earth World. Because the way that they do things out here in Earth World is putting a Band-Aid on it. It is not really fixing the problem, okay? And when we go to the doctors and the counselors for mental illness, right, what happens is they put us on medications a lot. We go through weeks and months of therapy. They give us some kind of diagnosis. And the truth is, just like traditional earth world physical sicknesses, it's far more involved in that. There's far too many pieces that they don't understand. Why? Because they're not going here. They're not talking to God truly in all that it is, to get those answers of all of what is going on within the soul and within the person. And every single individual is completely different. And this show is going to bring to you the tools through working with love, just like our other show, Live Talk Forum on Wednesdays, where we bring those tools over here. But in this show, we're going to go more and more in depth about everything to do with our mental illnesses, our toxic unwellnesses that we don't even know half the time, our energies really that are affecting us from our soul, that are stopping us from being our greatest selves and block us and then make us want to self-medicate or run to the doctors because we're having psychological issues or mental issues, or we have bipolar or variations of bipolar, or we have incredible fear, debilitating anxiety, emotional seizures or seizures themselves. We have physical symptoms. So we're going to deal with really heavy stuff. Okay? And we're also going to deal with anything and everything in between. So this is really a show for us all. Because as long as you're in humanity, you got shit going on in here, right? As long as you're in this world, in this environment here on Earth, you got stuff going on in your soul that doesn't work for you. And you've come here. So this is why I picked the pink scarf today. Self-love. Because it's all about self-love. It's about healing your soul on all levels that it is, so that you won't be an addict, or so to speak, or you won't be in the world of addiction or doing drugs and trying to self-medicate anymore. Because the whole goal here is to relieve that emotional pain, to release those energies in you, and teach you the tools in everyday life, how to read energy, how to understand everything that's going on in your world, both personally and across the board everywhere, by paying attention, by being aware, by understanding what is going on and being cognizant of it out here with other people and their actions and with ourselves, okay, and how we feel about it, okay, as we're cognizant of all of this, what happens is we are able to change these things, understand these things, react differently from these things, heal the emotional stuff that's in these things, because we're going to ask ourselves questions of how is it that I feel? Why do I feel this? Like one of my friends and clients, I'm not going to mention her name, but what she says to me all the time when she's having a moment, an emotional moment, she goes, I'm feeling some kind of way about this, right? Doesn't really know what it is. And we're going to help you on the show pinpoint how you're feeling and why. Just like, I had somebody come in here. She had no idea. All right. Now, narcissism is a big deal. Everyone says, oh, I know this one's a narcissist and that's a narcissist and he's a narcissist and she's a narcissist. We live in a narcissistic world and there's all varying degrees of everything, emotionally, narcissistically, even if that's a word or not. But you understand what I'm saying. Emotional world. Okay. And everything is in like percentages, from 0 to 100. How much of this do we have going on in us? But the irony here is this client that I had today didn't even have a clue that her husband is a serious narcissist and he's toxic. Now there's bigger degrees of narcissism for sure, but she couldn't see it. So this show is going to help you see what's really going on with you, the God's honest truth of it, as well as bring everybody to the gifts and tools in everyday life to deal with it, as well as clear stuff out of our souls. Take a look at our in-depth astrology, because it's a fantastic way when we don't understand why something is happening out here and the answers aren't coming in our reality. What do we always do? We talk to God. We talk to love. We ask and we receive. It is the Christ formula. Ask and you shall receive. It is not about religion. It is about living your best life in this eternal hell here on earth. Now, let's not call it eternal hell, although it seems like this in these days sometimes, right? It is not eternal hell, but living in this hell here on earth without these tools, we suffer. Okay, without working with God or without working with love, we suffer. And if we don't know how things work, all right, with the metaphysical law of earth world, right, as well as the earth world metaphysical rules, or the earth world rules or code of ethics of Saturn. Saturn is the governor of earth world, and there's a reason the other side of Saturn is the devil. There's a reason for that. It is also the devil within, where we don't love ourselves. And that, in a healthy space of God or love, because with the freedom of free will, we can change our chart around, we can change our lives around, we can change our souls around in any way, shape, or form. By working with love, we can choose to be darkness, we can choose to be light. We can choose to do whatever we want if we can open the doorways to see different, to feel different, to know different. What is going on out here than what the earth world has conditioned us to and what we have been taught. So tonight, this is what we're going to be doing in our show. Also for tonight, not only are we going to be doing this, but we're going to address different issues. Anybody who has issues that they want to discuss and talk about. And again, you can remain incognito by PMing us, and then we can say, there's somebody out here in our audience, and this is the issue. When we do that, this will help to bring light. But you need to be cognizant on the show too and ask questions, because if we can't have our questions answered, then it makes it more complicated for everybody to understand what is truly going on, because that's key. What's the God's honest truth here for everybody here, God, who wants to ask questions and the answers and the tools, because this is one of your mainstay of everything in your life always. What is the God's honest truth? You want to know what's going on with you? Ask and you shall receive. And the God's honest truth is the God's honest truth of everything. Not, Susan's beliefs or Tim's beliefs or my beliefs or Rachel's beliefs, but the God's honest truth of what's really going on. Because without getting to the truth and being honest with ourselves, and that's usually first and primary, honesty within ourselves. Okay, because a lot of times we can't even figure out or know what the hell is going on with us, right? Hence, my one client who says that, I'm feeling some kind of way. I don't know what it is, but it's some kind of way. And that's like, an epidemic today. People say that to me all the time. I don't know what I want. Well, the first thing is you got to figure out what you want, to figure out what's going on in here and figure out what is going on in there. What's going on with me emotionally, God? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I hurting? What is the God's honest truth? How do I help me heal me with all the tools of God or love? By working with love, by asking for the God's honest truth, by talking to love and God, all the time, as much as possible in your everyday life, utilizing these tools in the moment. Don't know what to say to somebody and you know they're heading towards you and you have a bad feeling? Ask love to be free of that. Ask love to speak through you, and it will turn out in a magical way that will always be best for you, that you could have never thought of, or in your toxic places of your soul dealt with or been able to handle it in that way. And this is the beginning of you starting from scratch, really, but you've always known this truly in your soul, of coming out here in earth world and shining and living your greatest destiny by asking God or love to come into you, by asking love to handle it, by asking whatever the situation, by asking love to speak through you, by asking love to clear all these things all the time, as much as possible, and especially when you feel some kind of way, or don't feel good, or feel toxic, or you know you have altercations with somebody and they're heading in your direction and you know it's not going to be good, or it feels like it's not going to be good. Ask love to clear it, because your greatest tool is working with that energy right off the bat, always, in every area of your life. It is a main key core for addiction, for mental illness, for psychology, and every day in your life, everyday souls, everyday human beings, everyday world in earth world, because you're working with the power of love in a dark, dark world. And that truly, all right, is where all your power is. That's for all of us, okay? And that's the formula of how things work. And this is how we're going to kick off today, starting by, being cognizant and remembering when we get in our head, or we start to freak out, or we feel emotionally bad, or whatever our stuff is, bring it to God. All you have to do is say, thanks, love, for handling this for me. Jesus, take the wheel. Everybody knows that old world saying. That's exactly what that means. And then take it and elaborate on it. Thanks, love, for speaking through me. Thanks, love, for handling this. Thanks for me being free of this. Thanks for me being happy no matter what happens. Thanks for freeing me from this energy. Then I don't have to think about it in my headspace. I don't have to figure it out. That's what ask and receive is, where they give you the answers and they come right in, and and you let whatever happens, and you let love speak through you. Okay, this is core for everybody. And this is the first key main thing, because our addiction program here and our mental illness program here, and I call it a program, you can call it whatever you want. The program, the show, right, doesn't mean that we have a program that we instill in you like some other addiction groups and meetings. And it doesn't mean that I'm dissing them groups. To each their own. Every soul goes to whatever they feel called to. But I can tell you that what we teach here will bring you to your greatest life across the board. Whether you think you're an addict, whether you are an addict or you're not an addict, or you're caught up in a toxic, doing drugs, or you're caught up in mental illness. Because the truth about addiction is that you're hurting so badly that you self-medicate, and you're trying to free yourself from that incredible pain that every single soul has somewhere in them and has experienced in their lifetime in their own personal way that is extremely personal and unique to each individual soul. So while there's variations and similarities, it's unique to the self. Okay, so this show is going to bring you to all these places. We're going to start here with doing everyday things to work on your life, work on, working all the time with understanding, paying attention to what's going on. Because the problem is we become so emotional that we render ourselves unable to talk, unable to speak, unable to think, unable to function. When we become emotionally crazy because our feelings are hurt, or we have incredible fear, or we have anxiety, we can't function. You all know what I'm talking about, because as a human being, we all have these energies that circulate through us and in us. And unless we address them somehow, they don't go away. And that's the issue with allopathic medicine. We can take Paxil, or we can take Prozac, or we can take any and every antidepressant out there that our doctors prescribe and guided by our doctors and our psychologists and psychiatrists and counselors, okay? But the issue is that none of that really gets to the core of what truly is going on and how to be free of it. Because addiction is through sex addicts. Addiction can be sex addicts, it can be gambling addicts, it could be addicted to money, it could be addicted to bad things. It could be addicted to any and every kind of drug. But the one thing I don't want people to believe here is that they are an addict, okay? You are healing. Excuse me. Think of yourself as healing, right? That you have an issue and you're not well and you're working on getting better. And that is how I'd like you to see your addiction. Can't see it that way? Ask God that you can. Because it's not that I wish that you don't identify with this, or that I want you to, take responsibility for this or not take responsibility for it. We want you to take responsibility for it, but we're doing responsibility in a different way that they teach in these traditional earth world groups. Now, sometimes, again, some people will need those allopathic medicines, all right, in the beginning of where they need to go as they get higher vibrational, as this show teaches, and this show will bring you to those spaces, and it will bring you to your greatest life across the board, no matter what your issues are, no matter how rough your life is, no matter what is going on. It can't not, because this is the formula of enlightenment and working with God or love to live your greatest life, have your greatest family, your greatest dreams, your greatest everything you so desire from love, but for the self first. Okay, so this is going to bring you to all of those spaces. So this is what the show is going to be about. We're going to do bits and pieces, and every week we're going to work on all of these things. But I don't want you to call yourself an addict, because that re-solidifies that that's what you are and you have a problem. So what I want you to do is say you are recovering from being an addict. You see? So you can say, I'm recovering from being an addict. That means you're no longer one. You are no longer one. Or I'm recovering from sickness. But you must also do the work in terms of be responsible, be accountable. Be accountable. In other words, you have to recognize that you have a problem. And in terms of this is one of your weaknesses right now, and you're healing that, but you can't sweep it under the rug and pretend like it's not there and not deal with it. And now this is why they want you to take, accountability, where they say I'm an addict in your traditional groups, because they don't want you to remove yourself from that, because it's a lot harder for you to heal. So we're not asking you to remove yourself, but we are, from being an addict, but we are asking you to take the power of your own identity for your greatest life, and understand here that addiction is a sickness. It is a sickness. It is because we're hurting in here. Whether we hurt physically and become sick because we're hurting in here, physically, mentally, spiritually, in whatever way we become unwell, it's always because what happens in our souls manifests out here. Okay, whether we realize it or not, and on all levels of all that we are. And the oldest souls, the older the soul, the more complex the soul, the more gifts you have, but also the more usually traumas, PTSDs, torments, disconnects, you name it. That's what happens. You don't get amazing, incredible gifts without doing the work in Saturn's or God's, right? And in God's earth world. God or love's earth world. Okay. Now, earth world, has lots of challenges here, because like, as many of you know, it's all about darkness right now. And this show is also designed to help you understand the darkness, so that you can understand when you have stuff in you that doesn't work for you, and how you can work out here to change all of those things. Okay, and this is what we're going to do. Again, working with love, talking to love, creating your greatest life. And we're going to give each and every one of you the solution for everything that you have going on. And we're going to work together to clear out stuff. We're going to literally ask God, where are the placements in my astrology chart to change this? Or what is going on out here that I need to see to change this? And universe, love, the angels, our guides, our hearts, and our souls will show us where these things are by what happens in our reality and everything that goes on with us. And you can see all of these things. And this is what the show is going to be about. It's going to be about healing you in all ways. Healing you, teaching you about psychology of the soul, all right, in the highest form of it, or God or love. Okay, in the spaces of God and love and universal law here in Earth World, understanding humanity, understanding how the soul works, understanding that there's different levels of understanding of enlightenment. And this is what we're going to learn and teach you here. And so that you can free yourself. You vibrate high enough, you can't really be arrested. You can't really get in any trouble. You can't really have, get in trouble for DWI or go to drugs or do bad things and be toxic, because those are lower vibrational energies. You heal this in you, that energy, it ceases to be there authentically, and then you are free, and it never fucking comes back. And this isn't just for this lifetime. This is forever. This is why traditional counseling will help you. And many times, they can eradicate some of these things. Sure, there's many ways to heal. But this is one of your most profound ways to heal everything that is toxic in you across the board, no matter what it is. Always. And you know from our other show that this is really a primary core of what we do. We give you all the tools. So our show is going to be about that. We're going to ask you questions. If you want to remain incognito or where people don't know about you, you can. Okay? We don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. A lot of people don't want to tell their stories or talk about themselves. So you can send it to me prior to the show. You can also send it to my associates and say, hey, it's me. Or you can say, I want to be known as somebody else for right now while I explain this story. But the cool thing is everybody here will get the tools to live their greatest life. From everybody else's story, we will learn. And from everybody else's story, we'll learn about psychology. We'll learn about how to read energy, how to live your greatest life, what's truly going on everywhere in ourselves, emotionally and in all ways, across the board. And every single one of us will also have the clearings, the healings of all of the work that we do here for each and every one of us. Okay, so that's what this show is about. It's going to be 7:15 every Friday night to 8:30. Or actually, I think it's 8:45, just like our other show, depending on how much we have going on. But this is going to be our time frame for the show. So think of your questions, your issues, your things, and it can be anything. It could be simply from anything, that comes in where you're having an issue with somebody at work. We'll tell you the God's honest truth of what's really going on. And sometimes these are, more than often than not really, this is information you can't get from anywhere else, that nobody else can tell you, because we tap into all the energy of the 12th house, which is past lives, okay, which is addiction, which is imprisonment, which is illusions, but which is all the universal law of all that is God. So what we have is I have Virgo in my 12th house, in my subconscious chart, with a couple of other big things going on there. But that gives me the doorway to open up this doorway for everybody out here and for our shows. And this is why we do the work that we do, because we are in touch with all that is God, that is love, the galactic universe. Okay, what do they call that? The galactic center. So anything we want to know, we have access to. And it doesn't just have to be this placement. It's about balancing earth world and metaphysical, Virgo and Pisces. Pisces is the 12th house. Okay, so you're balancing the metaphysical with earth world in Virgo, and Virgo is the perfectionist. So we don't play around. Okay, so, and we all have wonderful placements, or you wouldn't be here, that are equivalent to anything that I can do, you can do. All right, it's all in your astrology. It is all in your soul, and it can't not happen. You can't not have these gifts. Now, if you're shut off or tuned off or blocked by your emotions, by your stuff, by your addictions, by your illness, by your psychological stuff, whatever it is that you got going on, can be changed. Everything is about free will of love. So when somebody says, oh, I can't heal this, or I have this, and this is how it is. No, it's not. No, it's not. You have the power to change everything by working with love. But you see, that's what they want you to think, that you don't. Okay, because there was a time when I was a pretty rough person, and through my whole entire life, I had massive transformation, which brought me here. And I'm super grateful I'm not that guy anymore. But I can tell you, I did some pretty rough, yucky stuff that I'm not proud of, that I don't like to kind of think about when I get in those spaces. Sometimes I think I almost get chills. But those days are gone, thank God. But I do not remember how rough they are or were for me. And that's what I don't want for anybody. Earthworld has incredible suffering. That's what we all want to be free of. That's why we're here tonight. So please share this show with everybody. It is free. If you can donate, please do donate. Come to our shopping center. We're going to do things like raffles and advertise for us and give you free prizes. Why? Because in these times, not a lot of people are donating. And I can't donate only so much time to certain things if we can't raise more money or finances to keep everything going, as you guys would know. So we're going to do different things guided by God. Whether you post on our page and share our show 6 times in a month on different pages, or tell somebody about us, but this way we can start generating money for the show in a different way. Because we have a few donators here and there, and then we have like maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 that donate on a more consistent basis. But it's just not enough to keep giving of all this time and keep working on this and keep things going. So this is one of the ways universe has guided me. So we're working on a system here to share with you guys so that you can get cool things. Like, can you pass me that dragon thing, Rachel? Cool items like this little dragon thing, right, which hooks us into Chinese astrology. Okay, this cool little thing here. I don't know if you guys can see it. So stuff like this, right? Little gifts, to as incentives. We're going to do raffles with that. Let's say you share our show 6 times, we'll send you this. Again, we're going to know if you do it or not. We're going to ask for some form of proof, because in this world, there's so much darkness, there's so much bullshit, there's so many liars, and we have to be aware of that. Otherwise, we end up not making any money from this to help us out, if we're not wise to it. But you know how I work. God talks to me all the time. I talk to God all the time. Love is my God, not Satan, not Lucifer, not darkness that controls this world. Love, Christ, energy, love, okay? Christ consciousness. Love is my religion. Love is who I am, okay? Love is what guides me and who I speak with and is my God, okay? So I want to share that with everybody so everybody's clear on who I am, what I do, and what we're bringing to the table here. So we're going to be putting stuff like that together for the show to help donate and generate more money across the board to keep things going, so we can do this every week and keep doing both the shows and keep them going, because the goal here is to help people, to help them get out of the darkness. The higher we elevate the planet, the less of this shit goes on and the more everything crumbles out here in the darkness. All right. And the new world gets rebuilt on a personal level, because when you vibrate higher, your light across the board is the light that heals and changes everything. And the other biggest reason I do it is because I have suffered for lifetimes, as you have, for many, many, many lifetimes, and my soul is done suffering. And because of this, we want to bring you the tools to live your greatest life, to truly be happy, because without what we got, you can never do it. Not really. You can, not to the extent of what you want to do in the grand scheme where you're truly always happy. It's not possible. Okay? That's why the Christ formula is the ultimate formula. It's not about religion. Christ was a love energy prophet. He taught love. That's it. That's the formula. Okay? And we're going to work with this formula and use this with astrology, with all the power of God and love, talking to God and love, because that's the primary key here, the Christ formula, talking to love, for everything in the now, working on harder and more complex solutions for problems, issues, things that we have going on in our lives, and the best solutions for everything from love, including freeing us from addiction, because this is going to remove those patterns that are going to make you want to do drugs, and that would make you want to do drugs and make you feel miserable about yourself, because that's key here. Okay, so that said, everybody, hi everybody, I see you all on here. Rachel, can you tell me who's here?
We have Kathy and Nikki.
Okay, hey Kathy, Nikki.
We got Teresa and Tammy and Sarah Sutra.
All right. Hey, Teresa, Tammy, and Sarah Sutra. Hey, thanks for coming.
Jennifer Custer. We have Steve, Andrew Clarati, Dee, Debbie, Michelle, and Grafana.
Oh, a pretty good crowd. Thank you guys. So super psyched. Thank you guys for coming. So you won't miss a beat. Everybody gets all the clearings. It's dynamite. And it's a great way to do it if it's not in your budget to work with me personally on one-on-one, or through the energy work that we do and all the services that we offer here at our center. It's a great way to work with you guys across the board. Plus, you get everybody's healings, everybody's understanding, and so I'm super excited about it and sharing all this wisdom with you. Okay, this said, is there anybody here who, and of course, oh wait, before we go there, before we start asking questions and talking to everybody about their personal stuff, and so you guys can get ready. Before we do that, there's something else I wanted to say. Thanks God for bringing me back to that. Thanks for bringing me back to this now, please. Okay. what I want to do is I want to start with asking people questions, and if they want to share their issues and things that are coming up, please do. We're going to start there. If you guys do not want to participate, that's okay, because every single one of us right here at the couch or the table here that we have right in front of us in our shopping center here at the Institute for Christ Consciousness and the Copper Dragon, we're sitting here right now, and every person here has issues that behooves us all to work on. Okay, so we will share with you our personal stuff as well to open those doorways if need be, as well as we identify with those things as human beings, because we all got some of this that we all got going on, that you got going on. Okay, that said, and again, if you can donate, please do. In the meantime, as we put together a system, you'll always be able to donate. Rachel or Jennifer will share the links, okay? So you can donate via PayPal or what is the other one? Venmo. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. And do we have any questions, you guys, from anybody or anybody who wants to talk and tell their story and start the show?
We got a couple questions online so far.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
The first one we have is Dee. She said that it's not as bad as it was before, but she'd like to continue removing the boulder of I'm not worth it, as in putting herself second. She said that she's done it all her life, especially when she's in a caregiving role. She often says to herself, "Oh, it's okay. I can come second. My dreams can come later. I have to take care of my family member first. It's nowhere near as bad as it was, but I still have some serious moments of wanting to sideline myself." So she's looking for help with this.
Okay. So Dee's talking about sidelining herself when it comes to everybody else and everything in her life, and we all do this. This is all part of that. See this color here? This is pink, this lovely, beautiful pink. That's self-love journey. Self-love. Okay, so this is what's going on with Dee. She feels she's at a deficit for self-love in her self-love space, and everybody is going through some form of that, especially with Uranus and Taurus, because that's all about the things that weigh heaviest on our hearts. So it is about a balance. In Dee's particular case, she is a caregiver. Okay, so she's helping her mother, and her mother is struggling with some health issues. And Dee, in her personal life, she's having to help her mother, which is extremely taxing. Okay, so this is about Earth World karmic agreements for Dee and her mom. Right, but also Dee needs a healthy balance. How does she work through what's going on here? Because anybody who knows about caregiving knows that it's tough. It's really hard. It's very hard to do what you want to do and take care of other people, especially if they're terminally ill or seriously mentally ill, such as Alzheimer's or dementia. You know that you can't really leave them for too long. And then how do you balance this out and have a great life for you? Well, there are solutions here. There are always solutions. And the key, Dee, is by talking to God or love. What is it that you need for you? Always. Okay? So you wake up in the morning. What do I need for me today? What do I need for me today from love? All right. First step, right off the bat. All right. And then we're going to talk about what happens when you do this, because individual situations are paramount here. Individual examples of how it is that you don't take care of you. So if you can share preferably as many stories, at least one or two here, as quickly and easily as possible as you can share, okay, to get out here what exactly you're talking about, where you don't do what you wanted to do, or you don't do something from love for you. Do you see what I'm saying? I can think of many of them because me and you have been working together for a little while, and I can think of many of those stories, but I want to know which ones you feel are most connected to, because those are the ones that right now you want to address by looking at what's happening in our reality right now. You could use today, for example. Is there a moment today when you felt like shit, didn't get to do what you wanted to do, felt like you had to do this, you had no way out, or felt at a deficit for you, where you needed something that you didn't get? And again, this is that self-love space. And our reality, guys, our reality out here all the time shows us that. It shows us what's happening out here, tells us what's happening in here. So does Dee have anything, Ray? Any examples?
She hasn't typed them in yet, but she could be working on them.
Do you need her charts? Because I have her charts.
Do you have her chart? Let me take a look at her
Looks
chart.
like she's calling in, so do you have her charts? Hi, Dee. I didn't know you were calling in. Hang on 1 second.
Sorry, I didn't know I was calling in either.
funny.
Like, Lynn was asking for
Okay.
like examples, and I was like, oh, it'll be easier if I just call in.
Okay. Yeah. So go ahead. Do you want me to show them who you are or no in this picture? No.
No.
Okay. Got it.
No.
All right. So Dee doesn't want you to see her for today, and that's fine. Okay. So we have Dee on the phone here. See, this is Dee today. Okay. So, that said, Dee, can you share with us, is your phone as loud as possible, Jen?
I think so. The things on the side.
Of course, I shut it off.
You just turned off the camera. I'm still here.
Yeah, that's okay. This is why I don't have an iPhone. Can you fix this fucker? Jesus, take the wheel. Thank you, God, for letting me get to where I need to be, because I want her voice loud so that everybody can hear it. All right, this is as loud as it can be. Okay, go ahead, Dee. Tell us, like, one of the stories that made you feel not good about you, if you're comfortable with that, so that we can explain to you what is going on and everybody can get a better understanding across the board, so that when these things happen in their reality, they see what's going on. Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick, is it okay if it's something like farther into the past, or do you want something more recent?
What is it that you're connecting with right now? Do you see it could be something in the past, that bothered you from 5 years ago, and because you're Cancerian, you just can't let that shit go. Do you see? Because that regenerates in this reality in present time. When we can't let stuff go, guys, it keeps re-happening in our lives. Do you understand that? Over and over and over. Okay, so go ahead.
Yes, I totally get it. Okay.
Okay.
I just needed to make sure that the thought that came into my head was, I don't want to say correct, but in line with what you're saying.
Okay, go ahead.
So it came to, is like the worst offender that comes to my mind is when my maternal grandfather, also known as D-Dad, was in hospice care.
Okay.
And I remember just needing some time for myself, and so I just leave, and I'm just standing in the parking lot, literally trying not to stare into the sun. And I'm going, I am not worth it. It is like, who cares if I want to, at the time I wanted to go make a portfolio and get into art college, is like, who cares about that? No one was really communicating with me or talking to me at all. So I had to like figure out how to do for myself, and what I ended up doing was really not healthy in the long run. And it was just like, yeah, I'm not worth it. I'm just not worth it. I'm not worth, the attention. I'm not worth the time. I'm not worth the love. So I might as well just commit to taking care of Nana and D-Dad and Dad, because I was taking care of all three of them at the time. I was the only one that was able to get my grandmother to eat anything, so I was on the hook for that.
Okay. How old were you?
Oh, sweet mercy.
Just give me like an idea. If you're thinking about going to college.
It was a little bit later. I would say somewhere between 19 and 22.
Okay. All right. So, and you're trying to help, but you're trying to, do your own thing because you're between 19 and 22, which you're trying to establish yourself as an adult, a young adult, and do your own thing and be free. And because your family is sick, you're not able to do that, and is what I'm hearing here. Is this correct?
Oh, definitely. A bit more of my story is my father was first diagnosed with cancer when I was 10 or 11 or 12, somewhere in that range. And that was like the first taste of caregiving that I got for the longest time, even though I was extremely young.
Yeah.
I was still on the hook for cleaning and cooking in some capacity.
And you're 10 years old, and that's an incredible responsibility for a child, because you're not being able to be a child. Does everybody see that? And if she's saying this, we all got some of this where, like they say, latchkey kids, where you have to parent yourself. This is just another variation of not being able to be a kid, not being able to be, in touch with your inner child, not being able to know who you are, to love you, to have passion for you, to discover those things, to be able to play, to have fun. You're not able to do those things, right? Or not? D?
Oh, yeah, no.
Did you feel that way? Meaning, did you feel that way?
Oh, definitely. It's like all I remember is like my mother being absolutely beside herself, and I would be like trying to get her attention, and I would be just kind of blown off.
Yeah. Yeah. And that makes sense because your mom is devastated emotionally, and then she's at a deficit as a parent for you. So you have a whole bunch of patterns running in here that make you have to be dependent for you. And then you can't even really figure out who you truly are and your dreams and your wishes and your happiness. And as you progress into being an adult, there's these massive voids and deficits in your psyche, in your soul, that you're not able to get in touch with now that you're an adult, and you can't really live your greatest life because these demons have disconnected you, have hurt you so in impacted you so massively that and many times we're not even aware that this is going on. Do you see what I'm saying? And then you can't really be a whole person because somewhere in that mess of being a caregiver and giving everything to everybody else and shutting down your dreams and not being able to go to school and not, being able to do anything fun and not being able to have a childhood, you've shut all of that down. When we do that, we lose ourselves. And it's hard so many times to find ourselves again and figure out who we are and what we want. Because without that inner child, we're incomplete. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It is like I also have an insanely hard time relaxing.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as I sit down, and I start reading, it's almost like it's like I'm vibrating in my own skin, and it's like I have to be doing something productive. I'm being lazy. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm so bad. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't turn it off still.
Right.
Even though it's a lot better.
Right. Well, it's going to get better and better each time we do this work, either here together on the show, or you do this work yourself, or you do it through, working with me over here, or some other way, shape, or form. You constantly or continuously work on yourself energetically through the sound clearings, through everything, that you feel called to for your best healing for your soul and everything that you are. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So is there anything else you want to add? Because I'm going to do a big clearing prayer on this.
Jesus. That's a good question. That's like the biggest one, is like everything that I brought up is like the biggest thing. And I kind of noticed since, I was talking to you earlier about some stuff going on with Mom, is like I kind of noticed that I kind of wanted to go back into the old habit of just, you know what, it's okay for me to not sleep so well at night because I'm so worried about everything else. And I was like, no. Thank God that Lynn has that new show. I have a good one.
Right.
I'll volunteer first.
But here's the other thing, too. There's also earth world tools, guys, that you can use to help you calm down, to help you relax, to help you release emotionally. Right? Where's my lavender? Anybody have it over there? All right, here it is. Young Living, essential oil, lavender, okay, or doTERRA. We put a little bit of this on our wrists, or smell it, or put it in a diffuser, or put it on our shirt collars, on our pillows, a little bit on our blankets, okay? This is fantastic to release, emotional release, anger release, really, really great stuff. This will also help you calm down and rest, okay, Dee?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, a lot of times you can mix it with a carrier oil. I don't have a problem with it. You could use like a coconut oil or a light olive oil, whatever works for you. You could use, I think, fractionated almond oil, is it? Or fractionated
Fractionated coconut.
Fractionated coconut oil and almond oil. Okay, so you could use it. You could use this by mixing it with that. I like to use it straight up, but again, sometimes you might have a little bit of a reaction, but this is some earth world tools that can help you with this stuff. Okay, so for you too, D, as well as the salts. Okay, at the 12th house salt is one of your fantastic salts to calm you down. Okay, and for past life stuff and sleep. Okay, 12th house Pisces, it's responsible for sleep. Okay, so if you take the 12th house salt as well as 2, 6, 9, isn't that right, Rachel?
2, 6, 9, yeah.
In our cell salts, where's my pack?
Okay.
All right, as you see, we're prepared. All right, thank you, Jen. Okay, so 2, 6, 9 of our cell salts, right? See here? These are great tools, everyday life, biochemic cell salts, okay? These are great tools to help you for calming down, okay? Because everything physical is metaphysical. So D, 2, 6, and 9, and then your 12. So you could do 2 at a time, then 5 minutes, and the other 2 at a time as well. That's going to help release anxiety and stress. And what are they, Rachel? This number 2 is for what?
Immediate anxiety.
Okay, number 2 is for immediate anxiety.
6 is hypochondria.
6 is hypochondria.
And 9 is anxiety or nervousness about the future.
And 9 is anxiety and nervousness about the future. Okay, so we know Rachel. These are Rachel's go-tos. Okay, and number 12 again is your. I think it's is it Silicea? Is it? Yeah. And that one is for your 12th house, which is your sleep patterns, which is your anxiety, your addiction, has everything to do with mental illness as well. Okay. A huge amount, you're what do you call it? Insane asylum, where we imprison ourselves. Okay. So number 12. So these are tools too on this show that you can use, right? With diffusers or straight up put it on you. Okay. And the salts, like I said, okay, the biochemic cell salts every day that are really, really great tools to help you while you're going through the authentic healing of everything you have going on with you. All right, emotionally and in all that it is in your soul. As we heal all of these things, we have earth world tools that we're going to share with you too on the show to help you. Again, D, not drinking coffee after 4 o'clock at night would be, or cutting back on coffee, caffeinated things, right? As well as any kind of sweets or breads or pastas, anything toxic for you is going to magnify this stuff and make it worse. In other words, what you eat and the poisons that we take in has an incredible effect on our spaces where we are weakest, and it blows them out of proportion. This includes mental illness, your thinking, and addiction. This is for all of us. So, if you're feeling like munching out on a loaf of bread and butter might not be such a good idea throughout the day if you're not feeling really great or you're having a lot of anxiety and stress, because this is going to, actually compound that. And again, it takes a few days, right? 2 to 3 to 4 days for that stuff to get out of your system from the time you eat it and the side effects from it. Okay. So I don't know if I can see you in there, D. But okay. So right now, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to do a huge clearing prayer on all of this. Unless there's anything else, D, that you want to say, or are you good for now?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. Let's take all this energy from this which we worked on with D today. Everything that has to do with this, everything that is this, all energies that she talked about and created all of this for her. Let's grab all of this energy in her soul. Let us connect to it. Let us feel it, heal it, process it, release it, and be free of it, as well as balance it. And in place of this, put the best way to be from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for these gifts in our souls and in all we are, be, say, do, and create, and all that it is, and the best way for us to know of something better. And thank you, God, for that. For us. Thank you, love, for that for us. So you see what we're doing? We're using prayer. Words, thoughts, emotion creates. We ask love to be free of it, and it is so. We cover all of our bases. We put the best way to be from love, and it is so. Okay, so this is how we're going to do this on the show. We're going to do this in everyday situations, whatever comes up, as well as looking through our astrology and then pulling all of these pieces out. And anything that we don't hit on will either cycle around and come back for release, because that's how the soul works. It automatically will bring you to the things that are connected to other things that we didn't, let's say, touch on or hit on, because everything is in God's time when it is best. And everything is cyclic, so it will cycle around again. If you don't address it over and over, whatever the issue is in your life, it will come back and hit you in the back of the head like a 2x4, right? To give you an example, a really good one, Donald Trump, right? He would pick these people for his presidency, or his cabinet, is that what you call it? Mm-hmm. And over, he would pick people that betrayed him until he gets that fucking pattern out of his soul. It doesn't go away. So he will continue to do that. On the other side of that coin, you see Vladimir Putin, who isn't so stupid. And it's not being stupid. It's just that he doesn't have that pattern that Trump has over here. Trump, whether you love him or not, you want good things for everybody, as human nature should, right? So with Trump, if he would just remove this pattern from him, this betrayal pattern, this self-sabotaging pattern, picking all the wrong people for our cabinet to work with and trusting these people to do the right thing for our country, for me, for whatever, clear all this energy out as well, because it will happen over and over and over. And even if Donald Trump were to run again or be president again, until he heals this, releases this energy in him, puts the best way to be in place of that, it's the same shit is going to happen over and over and over. And in the way that we saw it, and in multiple ways everywhere in his life, because it doesn't go away. Unless you clear, heal, change it, and release it, work on your stuff, you're not free from it. Okay, everything is in energy, and all the emotional energy that's wrapped up with it, all that is this, let us all be free of it, including him. And may this prayer go to him to release it, so that if he ever does work, as we talked about before, if he ever does come back into a good space, in terms of helping our country and stuff, if he ever gets that opportunity to do so, that he is free of this, because does that not help? It helps us all, if that were to happen. Do you see? And the whole goal here, too, is to always want good things for ourselves and others from love, okay? From love in the purest form. And when we don't know what those spaces are, like people can't get past the fact that they hate him, or they think he's a narcissist and he's this tendency and that tendency, and whatever their shit is, that's their shit, not his shit. He doesn't give a shit what anyone thinks about him. Get a clue, right? However, if what we feel about him, if we allow that emotional energy to cloud us, it fucks us everywhere in our lives when we're cursing at him or whoever it is, or we're hating them for whatever reason, or we don't want good things for them. It doesn't mean we have to give to people that aren't healthy for us, not at all. What it does mean is that we don't get all wrapped up in our emotional shit, throw it on other people, or want toxic, unwell things for others as well. Do you see? Complex stuff, but really very simple, all based in the formula of love. It's about coming from love with everything we do. If I have shitty feelings for anybody, then then it behooves me. I don't have to do anything. But I am not released from the karma of that which it is that I have that creates the shittiness that I do and feel energetically and be and put out there to the world. Okay? I'm still karmically connected to that. And until I change that connection, I can't change it out here. So I can live lifetimes till I get the fucking message and change it that way. With age comes wisdom, and I decide not to be that guy anymore. But there's still that energy that runs out on there from my soul that creates everything in my life. And if there's any little teeny bit of that energy left in me, it has the propensity to fuck me up. I.e., Donald Trump, right? With all the people that betrayed him and his cabinet and all the challenges that the dude had. Really. And you sit here and you go, wow. And all the people out here that hate. And what they don't realize is now we have created a world that is filled with hate, that is filled with toxic, which is filled with all the things that they oozed out of their souls and threw at Donald Trump and everybody else in their reality with their righteousness, with their toxicness, with their crap. What goes around comes around, people. That's why it behooves us all to do this work. So let's take all this energy here, this Donald Trump type energy, whatever it is, that is all of this in us. Where we sabotage ourselves and everything to do with everything we're talking about here on the show tonight. Let's grab this energy emotionally and in all that it is. Let us connect to it. Let us feel it, heal it, release it, and be free of it and balance it in the healthiest, best way from love, and put the best way to be from love in the purest form in this reality, any reality, and all that is. Thank you, God, for these gifts in our souls and in all we are, be, say, do, and create in the best way for us and all or something better. Thank you, God, for that. For us. And if you stick with us long enough here on the show and you keep on doing this work here, what is going to happen is you will notice incredible changes in your life, in your soul, how you feel about you, how you react emotionally. It can't not happen, because what we're doing is we're taking that giant toy pile that you had from when you were a kid and we're cleaning it up. And once we get that shit clean, whoa, nothing blocks your way from living your greatest life and feeling fantastic about you. Okay. All right. So thank you, Dee. We did a ton of clearing work on all of this in our souls and all that we are. We appreciate your wisdom in helping us. Okay. Thanks so much. And we'll talk to you in a bit.
Take it easy. Thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Anybody else here has some stuff?
Debbie is next.
Okay. What you got? I'm going to do a little sage while we're talking too. Always want a sage to get energy off, because that's one of the other things people don't realize. We get other people's energies and stuff on us. We're empaths. We are like giant sponges. We pick up everybody's stuff. That's part of our gifts, our sensitivities, right? When we get other people's energy on us, sometimes our shit isn't really our shit, or we lash out on people, okay? It's not in the same way that it would traditionally be as if it came out of our soul when we get other people's stuff on us, okay? So that's all about being an empath. So I'm going to take some sage here. Whatever you connect with sage to get the energy off of you. So we'll be doing some of this. You can also use frankincense and myrrh. You can use a lot of other essential oils to get the energy off as well. And you can use different incenses, okay, to get the energy off of you. Remember, when you've been out and about or around a lot of people, it behooves you to sage emotionally to get the shit off of you. Meaning other people's energy. Okay, you're around it. It can't not affect you. So I always sage. I sage my house periodically. I sage here when I'm sitting, when somebody comes into the shopping center, if they're around me or I talk to them a lot, especially if I'm in close physical contact with me or they hug me, I'll sage the door. Like if my kids would come home from school, I'll sage the doorway. So without, when they walk in, 5 to 10 minutes before they come in the door, they walk in, they get the sage, it gets the shit off of them, right? And then the kid will usually be in a better mood because they're not carrying around everybody else's crap, especially if they're super gifted and empathic like we are. And of course they would be, because it's in the family ancestry and in the family line, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to sage you guys too. Woo! So you have some sage. This is great to help you get rid of that energy. So is the lavender again, okay? So I bring sage with me in my car. I'll sage my car. When I go and do events, I sage myself from that. I sage the house when I have people over, wherever I am, because this will help you immensely not take on the burden of everybody else's energy. We've talked about these things in the past. My sister used to always go get us coffee before we had a coffee machine way back when we lived in this one particular house quite a few years ago. She would get us the coffee. She would go to 7-Eleven. She'd leave here. She'd be like, "Oh, Lynn, let me get you coffee." She'd be like, "How are you today, honey?" And then she'd come back and she'd be like, "Yeah, what do you want for breakfast?" And I'd be like, "What the fuck happened to you?" I mean, because that's what happens. We get other people's shit on us and then we're like, "What happened? What happened to me?" You know what I mean? But it will trigger you. It will trigger your stuff. And this is super important for everybody to know. Here, I need to give you this back, right?
No, I just gave that to you because it has Debbie's chart on it.
Oh, okay. All right. So anyway, so you get what I'm saying, everybody? And if you don't, please ask. Because anything that you don't know, there are no stupid questions. None. Well, I grew up in a family where my mother used to tell me all the time, that I asked stupid questions. And the truth is, there is no stupid questions. And when people tell you that you're asking stupid questions, okay, it doesn't make you feel good about you. Then you feel what? stupid. And that's not the truth of God or love. There are never any stupid questions. You don't understand something? Please ask. Ask and you shall receive. And it's not about being stupid. It's about being your greatest you, because the smartest guy in the room wants to know what the fuck is going on, or he becomes the stupidest one because he never asked. Ooh, that hits home, doesn't it? All right, so let's clear all that out of us and put the best way to be from love. And thank you, God, for that for us. Okay, so we're going to move on now to Debbie. What time we at, guys?
8:50.
All right, can you fix this? Because I can't get the fucking thing to work. All right, God, we got to do something about that with me and the iPhone. See, I bet you that's because I have a hard time being in a healthy space for me, the I. Right? The I, right? This is why it's an iPhone. Okay? Yeah, oh, I'm sure that's right. So I am challenged for thinking about me, being in a healthy space for me. And that's what the show is about again. Self-love, my pink scarf, okay? Okay, so this is Debbie's chart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it our traditional Debbie we know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what's Debbie's question?
Debbie says, I have transit Jupiter in the 12th house. This
Okay.
is supposed to help me get rid of deep fears, rooted tendencies, and patterns of behavior that are not useful to me anymore. And then she writes, how?
Well, here's the deal, Debbie. Everything in the 12th house is imprisoned, okay? It is not available to you. So the question becomes, this is a mystery, this is an anomaly for you, and I don't care who you are. The more planets and the more shit you have going on in the 12th house, the more you don't have the access to the gifts of those planets in their full capacity. So when you say how, this is where the answer lies. So it is about, what is Jupiter about? Well, in your 12th house, it's Pisces. Jupiter, all right, is Sagittarius, is about abundance. Okay, so the answer is there, but your 12th house is Pisces, the demons, the things that stop you, okay, the incredible fears, the anxieties, the stressors, the, all the things that we talked about that are of the 12th house, insane asylum, being insane in your head, mental illness, depression, the past, not being able to move forward, being stuck in the past, okay? So all of those things are elements to look into to change this, okay? So having Jupiter in the 12th house tells me it's number 17 on your chart. In other words, it's at 17 degrees, I believe it is. So that's the number 8, and 8 is about abundance. So this is a pretty powerful placement for you. So it does help you. It will help you to release these things. Here's the ass kicker, though. Your 12th house is in Taurus, and it is in Gemini. You have a pretty fat 12th house here, okay? So it's a big deal, all right? The size of it reflects the size of the stuff that you came in with that are your challenges to heal. So Gemini, okay, is about communication, talking, thinking, listening, okay? In the 12th house is about Pisces. In the Pisces house, talking, thinking, listening, speaking, getting spiritually or differently in Earth world. You have Taurus in the 12th house as well. The challenge here, and then you have your moon in Taurus, which is also in the 12th house. So this is about a very difficult, I hate to say inaccessible, because that's not really true. If you do the work and you really decide that you're going to do what it takes to do, you ask God to do it. You don't have to figure it out. The answers will come and you will do it. Okay? But if you get in your head space, like Gemini does, because it's an intellectual sign, if you get in your headspace and you start thinking about how are you going to do this and start freaking out and having anxiety, all right, and all of that stuff which comes with the 12th house and Gemini, all right, then you're going to have more challenges and the challenges that you're having. So the moon in Taurus, okay, is a beautiful, lovely moon. It's about beautiful things, but it is also about worth and value. Your worth and value, and having the moon, all right, that's your 4th house. That's Pisces. That's about being the mother. That's about being a caregiver. It's all about family. It's also of the past. Cancer. So you're getting like a double, triple, quadruple, what is the word? energy here that is not allowing you to access the past. So this is a challenge. So the question becomes, how do you do that? The moon is your subconscious soul. So this is something that behooves you to get into your subconscious soul, your astrology of your ecliptic. Your ecliptic, again, is like this circle here, that you see in astrology. It's the circle that we have. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a little circle there. It's called an ecliptic. But you have your OG chart and you have your subconscious chart, Deb, and we all have that. So it behooves you to start releasing this through this energy work. But because this is so deep and from so many lifetimes, I know you're going to want to punch me out when I say what I'm going to say, but it will be wise for you to either start doing some different kinds of energy work. I don't care if it's with me. I don't care if it's with, doing vibrational alchemy, or it's doing sound bowls or sound baths, or doing bars with, let's say, Laura, or doing Reiki with somebody, or doing the master soul clearing with us, or doing the ancestral healing, because this isn't just about you. This energy is going to be in everybody in your family as well, because it's in the ancestry. Okay, why? Because it's Cancerian. Your moon in the 12th house screams that. Okay, so you're going to have that energy of the past in your family ancestry. Your 4th house is all about family, your genes, your DNA, your family ancestry. So the truth here is about you digging deeper than you've gone before, and really starting to get back in to healing you differently. Okay, so this is where the answer is. So when you say, where can I access that Jupiter? Because here's what's going to happen. You ask God to open it up. You ask God to change this. We ask God to remove all these blocks. We ask God to step into our subconscious soul and to utilize these Taurus, Pisces, and Gemini gifts, and the gifts of the 12th house in the healthiest, best way, from love. Clear our blocks that stop that from happening, and this is going to start to happen. It can't not, because you know what I do, Debbie. You know. Okay, so this is, let's ask for these gifts for all of us to release this energy that is all of this in us, and for Debbie as well, so that she starts to do this journey and go on this journey for her best healing, and that is the healthiest, best way it can be, from love. And this will start to happen. It can't not. And then Debbie has to get up there and do it. Literally do it. Even on the days when you don't feel like it, or you're having a hard time, you talk to God, you talk to love, you say, okay, God, clear this out of me. Let me do this. Please let me do this. When I have stuff, when I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I had to go to the fucking city tax fucking people here this week. And I was like, oh, and I was like dreading it. And I prayed on everything. I said, okay, God, let me get up and do it. Let me go and do it. Let me take care of this now. Love speak through me. Love handle it. And so it is. And it gets done. And it gets done in the healthiest, best way too. So by removing all these things for you and asking for these great gifts for you, all right, which we've asked for, and all from love in the purest form, to release any blocks that you have. And we're also going to ask God that you're happy no matter what happens, so you let go of it. And then this starts to happen, and it will now start to happen. And thanks God for this, for Debbie and all of us, these gifts for all of us from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. Thank you for these gifts in our souls and all we are, be, say, do, and create, and all that it is, in the best way for us and all, or something better. Okay, Deb, so there's your answers. We can work on it through the astrology one by one. We can work on it through the show here. We can work on it singly, working together. You can come to the ancestral healing classes or energies, even when you think, whether you think or not, they work or not. All of this stuff works, because so more often than not, we're disconnected at these levels of incredible stuff at such a heavy level that we carry around from lifetimes. So how do we know it's so much? Because you got Jupiter in there. While Jupiter is a benefic, you have so much, like Taurus. Taurus is an energy that is all about your second house, your heart, your self-worth. And that energy weighs so heavy on you that it makes you unable to move, unable to go forward, unable to change anything, unable to get in a wonderful, healthy self-worth and self-love space for you, so you can live that life that you so desire. So let's clear all that out too. Thanks God for that for us. Excuse me. And for Debbie. And for all of us, from love, and all these gifts for us now, please, from love in the purest form. Release all of this. Thank you for these gifts now, please, that we've asked for from love in the purest form. Thank you, God, for these gifts for all of us here now. And in the purest form of love, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. The best releases, the best things that we're asking here for now from love. So, Deb, this too shall change. So get ready, all right? And then you can pick out, whether whoever it is that you want to work with or whatever energy that you connect with in the healthiest, best way, and ask God, ask love for the best person for you or the best ways to do things and the best things. Personally, I know you're part of our people. I'm not going to be offended. It's about what is best for each one of us from love, whatever that is, at the whatever space of God or love we're in. Okay, so thanks, Deb, and I'm glad that you shared this because people got a huge understanding about a lot more about the 12th house and how planets and energies get locked up in those spaces and we can't move forward. And here's something for you to know, Deb. I got stuff in my 12th house too in my subconscious chart. Who knew? Who knew? All right, much love, and if you have any more questions in reference, please ask. Does she?
No, she said thank you, and she also made a donation.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who donates. We're super grateful. And I'm just super excited about all the great things that we're doing here tonight. So thanks. And thank you. Okay, so anybody else here on the show have anything?
We have Nikki.
Okay.
She said that she has rage issues. She said she just got super salty at her family. And she is asking if we can pull that shit out of her chart.
Okay. Did she bring me her chart?
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people are going to their charts, their astrology to pull this out. So what I'm going to do, and this is great, I'm going to ask God for the best placement or placements right now to look into to heal this and clear this for Nikki. Now, if I don't have the time, we would just go through it and remove those energies and ask God for the best way to be in place of this, because the good stuff will still stay there. The stuff that doesn't serve us gets released, because that's how God or love works. It always wants what's best for you. So the things that your soul wants to retain that are best for you, you will always hold on to, regardless, of whether you realize it is good for you or not. When you ask for something, if you think that it's something you want and it doesn't happen, it's because that's not what's best for you. All right. So there's a lot of stuff to know about how this stuff works, and you guys are all going to learn it. Okay. So let's ask God, the God's honest truth, of what placement here is the most powerful placement to remove these rage, anger issues for Nikki. Well, the first thing you got to know, Nikki, is being a fire sign, rage is your go-to shit, like me, right? So dealing with rage is going to be a journey throughout your life. I'm sure you already know that, and you have come a long way. Me and you have worked together quite a little bit over time. So anybody who has a lot of fire energy or has fire sign in them, whether it's in their moon rising or their sun sign or other powerful placements like Mars on the ascendant or a bunch of planets in Leo or a bunch of planets in Scorpio, right? And people go, well, Scorpio is a water sign, but Mars is the original ruler of Scorpio. So think about lava, because that was the original ruler of Scorpio. And all that hot, boiling, molten lava is at the bottom of that Scorpionic sea. Okay? So you will have massive amounts of rage and anger a lot of times in Scorpios, but because it is so deeply buried in the sea, a lot of times you won't see it in the same way that you'll see it in, let's say, you, Nick, or in an Aries energy that just jumps and gets all fiery. Do you see? A lion takes a little bit more time to burn sometimes, right? Because if you look at lions in general, the Leo and lion, they kind of sit down and rest. All right, they rest a lot, lions, and it takes them a lot more before they get to that point as a fire sign. All right, Aries, they just jump to it and they will react a lot of times with their anger. Remember, they're the warriors, so there's a fire sign energy. And then last but not least is your Sagittarius energy. Thank God there's a man head on that horse, because your horse is your wildest energy. It is your wildest energy of all the energy across the board in astrology. And if you think about wild energy, fire energy is your most wild. Fire, think of wildfire. Right? It burns and it flies and it gets all kinds of hot and wild in an instant. Okay? So think about these things, guys, when you're looking at your chart and you're learning about you and understanding you and why you are the way that you are. Each one of us has different missions and different ways of dealing with different things. I have, as you guys probably already know, those of you especially who know me and come to the show a lot, you know that I have a lot of fire energy, and I get the shit on sometimes where I'm like, blah, 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 and I get all crazy with it, right? That's fire energy. And sometimes I get angry. But a lot of times, anger is a release for all your other emotions as well. And we have trouble releasing our emotions. And then also we'll take out stuff on other people, on our families, on our friends, with our anger issues. So those are all things to think about across the board as we go down this road and we learn all about ourselves, our emotional energy, and how our chart or our astrology and all that we are in the energy of God or love, and all of our things that are going on with us, how to understand them as we go down this path in our lives. Okay, let's see here. So what comes up for Nikki, which is the God's honest truth, or the best thing. Interesting enough, Nikki, this is really funny, because you have Virgo as your ascendant, you have your moon in Leo, but your moon in Leo, or your moon in the 5th house, and you have a Capricorn moon, okay? You have a Capricorn moon in the 5th house. That's why I said Leo. So you understand that you have Leo influence there, okay? But it's also in the 4th house. So your moon is also Cancer, okay? So you have a little bit of an issue with letting go of things from the past, right? So let's clear all that out for us, because anything we hold on for the past, a lot of times you can literally see it in people. When people have their weight in their ass, like you ever see somebody with a huge ass and everything else on them is like flat stomach, and they're leaner, but they got this big rear end, and you're like, like that song, Fat Bottom Girls, right? Those are people who carry their energy in the past. They carry all that is, right, in their behind. Everything that is behind them, they're carrying it around with them and in their back. It's the past. It's what they've been through. So it's important to be aware of that, because if you're manifesting this energy in your physical body in that way, then it's something for you to look at in your astrology and in your life and in your soul, so you can heal that, so you can change that. There's people who are like, oh, well, it's just genetics. Yeah, it is genetics, but it's way more than that. Each soul has its own stuff that it carries, but it's kind of comical, really, because God is funny as shit, right? Just like, any kind of sign that you are, you will look like that energy. I tell people all the time, they're like, they tell me, oh, I love your hair, and my hair is all wild. Well, what is that? I'm Lyran, all right? And on my subconscious chart in astrology, I'm a Cancer Libra, a Cancer Leo. Okay, in my sun sign. So I'm going to have a lot of lion energy, but I also have a lot of Sagittarius energy. What do horses have? Horses and lions both have wild manes. So my hair is always fucking wild, and my hair is light, right? It's this color here, right? It has to do with that Sagittarius energy. The other thing that Sagittarius have is really long legs, right? Rachel has Sagittarius moon. Her and me always have to have like 36 length in pants, because our legs are like horse legs, right? They're long and they're running, So these are the energies that manifest in us in our physical array, in through the astrology, and also through our emotional shit. Everything physical is metaphysical. Everything. Okay? That said, Nikki, the biggest thing that came in here for your chart to heal and work on is your North Node in Aries. All right? North Node in Aries. Okay? And it is in the 8th house. The 8th house... The 8th house is Aries, home, OG home, right? That's that, what do you call it? That lava way deep down, okay? It takes a lot to get there, but you can get there, as you have showed us and talked to us about. All right, so the 8th house is about transformation. Your North Node is right by the red. See the red Aries, guys? I don't know if you can see that in Nikki's chart, that little red Aries symbol, right? You'll see her North Node. That's the horseshoe, the right side up horseshoe. That's your North Node. That's your life's destiny. The fact that it is an Aries. Aries is a fire sign. It's about being the boss. It's about being a warrior. Okay? It's about mad fire sign. So it's about rage. It's about being a warrior. So Aries is your number one. Known for your number one wild rage placement. But what people don't realize is that Sagittarius is the horse energy has that beat. Okay. But remember the stubbornness of this energy. Is it a mountain goat? Is it a ram? It's a ram, isn't it? Yeah. I think they're called, I don't know. Are they called mountain goats too, or no?
No, I think that's
I don't
different.
think so.
They're just rams? Okay. All right. So I know the mountain goat is definitely Capricorn. Okay. But that said, so your destiny, Nikki, is to heal this in this lifetime. So this will be a journey for you. Okay, you will notice, I'm sure, which you already have through working with us and what we do, that you've already healed a lot of this. And as you keep on healing you, this too, you will become a master of this North Node placement in Aries. Okay, so it's also interesting enough, it is also within cusp of Taurus. So it's part Aries, part Taurus is your North Node because it cusps. So the issue with that is about your heart, your self-worth, worth and value. Do you guys see a recurring thing here? Heart, worth and value. Taurus is an earth sign. It's the bull. It's the things that weigh heaviest on your heart. So this is definitely going to be a challenge for you, Nick. So we're going to ask God to remove all of these energies. Your North Node is your destiny. So this being in Aries is definitely going to be part of your journey, your healing journey, and your destiny for your life is to heal you and be able to balance and heal this incredible rage in you and deal with rage in the healthiest, best way, and anger and all issues related to that and related to our emotions that are funneled into that in whatever way, shape, or form. This whole journey is about that for you. So let's ask God to release all this, to heal all this, to clear all this, to be free of all this, and put the best way to be from love in place of this, and make this the easiest it can be and best it can be from love. And with all of this, and release everything that so needs to be released, and as we have asked for from love in the purest form, all right, and then put in place of this the best way to be from love, and with all this the best way to be from love in the purest form in this reality, any reality, and all that is. So Mars and Aries is the same. And so I'm going to take a little, see if I can't find something in my book here. I have a book here for you guys, which is fantastic. This is one of the people we work with in our astrology classes and classes of higher knowing. She really has mastered her art. Her name is Judith Hill. We've talked about a lot of her books. It's like, who's the Coiner girl? What was her name? Lynn Coiner. She's another one who's a fantastic astrologer in the traditional ways. But this is called The Lunar Nodes, the key to an excellent chart interpretation. Lunar Nodes. This is a book, again, by Judith Hill. So in here, we could find Nikki's North Node in Aries, okay? So I'm going to give this to one of my people, and they're going to see, I'm going to see if they can't find it, if one of you wouldn't mind finding the North Node in Aries. If she has the North Node in Aries, she has the South Node in Libra, and they go hand in hand. Of the past and is your South Node, and the future is your North Node, okay? This said, these are some of our emotional challenges, and we have removed all of these things for all of us, okay? Now, let's see here. Rachel, I think, is going to look for that North Node in Aries because it will also give you, and all of us, I'm going to give this back, Nikki's chart, okay? It'll also give you a better idea of these kinds of challenges, okay? So here we have, thank you, Rachel. Okay. We have North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra. And again, this is from Judith Hill. This is her book. All right. This strengthens within your character the qualities of independent action, decisiveness, and creative thought. You may lean toward partnerships and possess natural diplomatic qualities. However, following the lead of others possesses natural diplomatic qualities. Okay. However, following the lead of others may prove your undoing. Okay, so it says you may lean towards partnerships and possess natural diplomatic qualities, right? However, following the lead of others may prove your undoing. Be self-reliant. You may be prone to brainstorms and blast of thoughtless impulse. Dun, 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 dun. That's Aries, thoughtless impulse, right? And, working with others is going to be one of your challenges. It's my way or the highway. It's the way that I think and the only way. And that's Aries traits, right? So it's about being in a healthy place of you. Okay, next paragraph. Don't worry, guys, it's not too long. You might have old karmic debts to settle in relationships or suffer loss through partnerships, marriage in the arena of activities indicated by the natal house position. Scorpio, transformation, okay? But also Libra, the first and I believe it's it's in the 8th house, so it's 8th and 2nd house. So Taurus, So you're going to have that Taurus energy again, and then whatever sign is also, which would be Libra, because Libra will be in your second house because it's a partnership. Your North and South node go together. They are related to your moon signs or your moon energy, Libra and Aries, okay? This is your North and South node. Okay, so muscular activity is beneficial for you. It would not be wise for you to lead an intellectual's life devoid of physical exertion. In other words, you're a person who has to exercise. You have got to get this rage energy out of you physically. This is what this is saying. So anybody who has a lot of Aries energy is like, you know, they go and they go and they go. A lot of people say to me, where do you get all this energy? But I also have to be able to balance this energy and release this energy and exercise. Aries is the doer of the zodiac. They're always doing. If you look at my mother who has 6 placements, she can't fucking sit still. The only time she sits still is like right now when she's not feeling good. Okay, so she's sick right now. And we sent her angels. Okay, so that said, understanding all about ourselves in this area's energy helps us understand what we need out here in Earth world to help us be well. Just like the lavender, just like Aries needs exercise, okay? Just like the sage for all of us to release stuff. Do you see? There's tools out here that we can use in Earth world to help us be well, physically, mentally, and in all ways, as well as doing the energy work ourselves and working with the astrology as we're doing right here, right now, okay? So this is helping Nikki understand Nikki better, and all of us understand the North and South nodes better in relevance to our life journeys, our things of the past, okay, and who we are, how we can work and change these things so we can be our best selves, both physically, consciously, and actively in our reality, all right, as well as internally with the releases and working with God or love in our souls, okay? That said, here we go. Next up. Okay, muscular activity is beneficial for you. All right, so we did that. Solo work develops you best. It is better that you make decisions and be wrong than sit on the fence, idling away in indecision. Pleasure and or romantic dalliances are much to your undoing. Stand up, be individual, do create and initiate. Take time to develop your unique talents. Now, Libra is the sign of indecision. Libra gets in those spaces, so procrastination is not your friend, Nikki. Actually doing, you're better off. Even if you're wrong, actually doing is better for you sometimes, more often than not. That's what it's saying here, okay? So you got some really great tools in here. So let's ask God or love. See, they're all right here in the book, okay? Let's ask God or love for the best way to have these gifts from love and to release all the things that no longer serve us or are toxic in any way, shape, or form for us, or not in the purest form of love. All right. Thank you, God, and not best for us. And thank you, love, and God, for this for us now, please. From love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is, not just for Nikki, but for all of us here. And thank you, God, for that for us. Okay. So that was Aries, North Node, and South Node in Libra. Okay, so we have books like this that totally help us, and it's not really a fat book, and it's not like you have to read. You can find the bits and pieces that you're called upon, and you can look into those. Okay? What's up, Nick? Okay.
He said that Nicholas is laughing. I guess it was spot on.
So Nikki's partner is laughing because he feels, Nikki says they think it's spot on. I'm sure that's it. Okay, so what time we have now, guys?
It's 8:44.
Oh my gosh, we really whipped through this, huh? Okay, so it's 8:44 now. I think that we're going to wrap it up. Are you okay, Soph? Did you want to do yours?
I'm okay, thanks.
Are you sure you don't want to do it before so we can do yours right now? Because I know you wanted to go.
No, I do. It's kind of a bigger question, though, so we can wait if you'd like.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right, here's what we'll do. Next week's show, we're going to open with Sophia's because she had got her chart together and she was all excited. So let's ask God that we do it. She's happy and we get it done and it's wonderful. And we open next week's show with that. Okay? All right, you're welcome. Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah.
And let's ask God that you're simply happy no matter what from love. Thanks, God, for that for us. Okay, so I want to say thank you, everybody, for coming. I hope that you enjoyed the show, and we're just going to keep on going with all this cool stuff and all this healing work that we're doing and any questions. And as time goes on, people will get more comfortable with talking about their stuff and the things that are stopping them in any way, shape, or form as we move forward and get in the swing of things. But thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, everybody, for participating, donating, and being part of our community. I love you guys, and we'll see you next Friday at 7:15 for our 12th house recovery, because that's what this is. It's about recovering from the 12th house and the things of the past and all the unwellness that doesn't serve us, and so we can live our happiest and best lives. All right, thanks guys. See you next week.